Welcome to the Scarlet Sitdown, a daily Targum sports podcast dedicated to covering everything that goes on in Rutgers athletics. Every episode, we're going to bring on special guests to discuss the hottest topics in Rutgers sports. I'm head sports editor Ellis Gordon.
And I am associate sports editor Josh Meyers.
And today, we have special guest Camden Markel, who is our Rutgers basketball recruits beat writer and men's lacrosse beat writer. How you doing, Camden?
Doing good. How much you guys want me to tell you? I had an exam.
Yeah, dude. Give us all the tips.
Good exam today.
I know you know all these tips. Give us all the tips.
Ate at Livy. That's the spot to eat. Gotta
Livy,
eat there. But yeah,
I had a really good hamburger today, or
Solid.
turkey burger.
Solid.
Oh, all right. So we're not talking about turkey burgers though today. We have Camden in, and we thought we'll use this time to talk about some Rutgers men's basketball recruits, just a general portfolio of the recruits this year and the upcoming 2 years worth of recruiting. So I think we should start with obviously the most pressing issue, which are the 2022 recruits and who are freshmen now. That would be Derek Simpson, guard Derek Simpson, forward Antoine Woolfolk, and stretch forward Antonio Chol, and how they're doing so far this season, what's expected of them. So Camden, what do you choose the player you want to start off with first?
Okay.
And give me what do you expect from them? Yeah.
I mean, we can definitely start with Derek Simpson.
I think that's the person you want to start with.
Wait, before you go, he actually lives near me. Lenape is near me, it's 20 minutes away from me.
Okay.
So, the pride of South Jersey, Derek Simpson.
Shout out to him.
Shout out South Jersey.
But no, Derek Simpson, I feel like the biggest thing we've seen was definitely the Indiana game. Just he showed out, put the team on his back for a stretch there and opened up the game. And just in general, I think even now with Mag out and potentially McConnell for at least Thursday probably, maybe in the future, he's been getting even more minutes. And just with that, I feel like he's been thrusted into situations that maybe a freshman wouldn't generally be playing. But he's been doing well, and I think moving forward he's going to continue to just be kind of a spark. He's kind of like the guy you bring in, and you hope maybe he'll try and catch a body, throw down a dunk, he'll hit a three. I know he's always shooting those mid-ranges, which he hits them a lot. But anyways, it's just I feel like with him, he's kind of a spark, and I feel like that's what he's progressing towards, and he can keep that up, and he's kind of looking a little Geo Baker-esque.
Definitely,
sometimes.
I was thinking that too. He's got the number 0, he's got the
He does,
hair.
yeah.
I was thinking that too, for sure.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely the most exciting he's a freshman, so I wouldn't call him prospect, but freshman, because he has the unique ability that really very few people on this Rutgers team now does, that he might already be the best player on Rutgers that's able to get its own shot. Best guard, that is. His shot creation ability, his burst, his quickness, his lateral movement is off the charts excellent. He's a little smaller, but he makes up for it with his speed, his burst and quickness, and his handles are, again, already at an excellent pace. Now, where he's really struggled this year is shooting. 36.4% from the field, 22.7% from three. That's not great even for a freshman, that's not great. But his ability to find open shots makes you think that with a full season, off-season of open practice, he's going to, because his stroke's good. There's nothing I'm saying, wow, I'm looking at his shooting form, I'm like, this is pretty solid. But there's nothing to say that he can't really make a sophomore jump on both of those categories. And we've already seen him make an in-game jump in terms of distributing as point guard. He was thrust in early as a point guard due to the McConnell and Mulcahy injuries, and he struggled a little bit with decision-making. Now he has he's a plus assist to turnover ratio, 15 more assists than turnovers. He's got much better over the coming weeks, and I'm a little worried for his minutes now, again, because of the shooting, but he's been a little better this year, and they're really going to have to rely on him in the upcoming games. But I really think for a sophomore season, he does have a chance to be Geo Baker-esque, where you get that up to 34% three, 45% from the field. You're looking good, and his burst is just, you can teach shooting, you can teach passing, right. You can teach defense, where he shows a little aggressiveness. You can't teach burst, and he's got raw athletic ability.
For sure. He definitely makes some freshman mistakes, like always. Wisconsin, I feel like he hit a big shot.
And then he fouled
immediately after. He'll get you those, but I feel like his spark and just, you can see, like you said, the shot creation at least is there already.
Definitely.
I want to move on to Woolfolk, Antoine Woolfolk, who's played the
Wolf
second
Man.
most minutes of the freshman. As Josh just referenced, he has his own little cheering section in the Ride Squad. They
He's
put
the
on
Wolf Man.
masks.
He is the Wolf Man of the Wolf Gang.
It's another player with a lot of raw talent. He's gotten less minutes than Simpson. Simpson averages 18 minutes a game. Woolfolk only has been averaging 7.3 minutes a game. He switches in and out as backup center with Dean Weber, depending on the matchup. And this is another player with a lot of freshman mistakes, right? Where, especially in defense, he fouls way too much.
Yeah.
But he's already an elite screen setter. He's shown flashes of incredible footwork against some of the best defending bigs. So you gotta also Pico's such a good recruiter in terms of raw talent because he was a 3-star football prospect. Woolfolk, he could have played football, so he brings those unique abilities that Antonio Gates, Jimmy Graham brought to college basketball before that.
Wait, did they play? They played college basketball. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
They were good at college basketball.
No, first of all, I knew that, but everyone just jokes around that they didn't know Graham or Gates played because they always say it on the broadcasts.
True.
Did you know Jimmy? Ken, did
Yeah,
you know Jimmy Graham?
right.
He played
No, for
basketball?
sure. But I think, I'm less certain on his future because he really has to cut down on the fouling, and let's see him as a distributor.
For sure.
And he's a little undersized, but just his strength is already top of this Rutgers team. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's been definitely solid in the limited time we see.
70% from the field, 69.4%. So when he picks his spots, and
Right.
again, I'm sure Coach Pico, great defensive coach, is going to teach him how to, on defense, use less of his hands. And I think the third prospect I really want to touch on briefly, because he hasn't gotten a lot of minutes. He had 3 points this year on 1 3-pointer. 1 for 8 from the field, but obviously only 8 field goals, is Antonio Cho. Hasn't gotten a lot of minutes. 19 minutes to be exact. But he came on late to Rutgers this year. And another player who is 6'8", can shoot the three. Pico raved about him in summer workouts. He was their second best 3-point shooter besides Cam Spencer in summer workouts. Now, Pico, you have to take a little bit of that with a grain of salt because Pico has been raving about Oscar Palmquist in summer workouts, and he never used to play him. Granted, now he's playing, but
he has to play.
It's just kind of hard to
these
assess
injuries.
a person like Chol because he has gotten so little minutes.
Yeah.
But you have to love the potential. Mag got very little minutes freshman year,
Right.
and even last year Mag kind of came on late. So Chol, it's a project for sure. He's really raw, but I think Coach Pico's track record is good for developing raw talent, and he recruits raw talent. All three of these players have unique abilities. A 6'8" stretch forward, 6'9" could have played tight end football center/forward, and a guard who might be a little on the smaller side and skinnier side, but has unreal burst and speed down the floor. So I think this was an underrated recruiting class by Pico. I think you have to be excited for in the future.
Agreed. They all fit. I feel like Pico's mold and what he wants on the team, they all fit a certain one. I think there's a lot to be excited about with those three.
Yeah, and I think it's perfect time to switch to next year's recruiting class. I guess this year's recruiting class, it's 2023. And we're going to start off with Gavin Griffiths.
Well, let's first start off with who they got.
Okay, all right.
So
Well,
they got 4-star small forward, Gavin Griffiths.
Gavin Griffiths.
And I know he's a 5-star on a couple.
He's a 5-star on a couple.
Rivals,
He's a
I
5-star on a
think.
couple, yeah.
247 composite has him a little lower than
Yeah.
most. They have him at 37,
Right.
which is a high 4-star pretty much. They also got Bay Ndongo, who also is a lower 4-star, but an interesting prospect as we're about to discuss. He is not in the top 100. He just missed out. And then you've got Jermichael Davis, who's unrated when Pico signed him. A complete surprise. Notably, he's teammates with Ace Bailey. But, we'll talk about later. But I have some things I want to talk about with Jermichael Davis. But sorry to cut you off, Josh. I want you to talk about Gavin Griffiths.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really exciting prospect. I mean, he was the highest rated prospect before we eventually got Ace Bailey, who we'll talk about. Definitely an exciting player for sure on this team. 4-star. He's the second top 50 recruit that Steve Pico has brought to the Scarlet Knights, joining Cliff Amori currently. And he's 6'7". He is 6'7". and he is
just passed Mike Rosario for
Yes.
Rutgers' all-time highest
Yep.
recruit. Obviously, they'll change a little more, so that can change. But right now, he's
Mm-hmm.
Rutgers' all-time highest recruit. Obviously, Ace Bailey, once it becomes official, will be Rutgers' all-time highest recruit, no matter what, because he's our only 5-star we've ever gotten.
Yeah, and Griffiths also held offers from Michigan, Iowa, Penn State, Providence, Xavier, UConn, and Syracuse. So that's 3 Big Ten schools he picked. He didn't pick, and he picked Rutgers. So it's definitely nice to beat out those Big Ten rivals.
For sure. I think next year, I mean, when Gavin gets here, I think he'll just contribute immediately. I mean, he's such a high recruit. Like, I feel like how can you not
Right.
play him? Especially, I mean, Rutgers isn't really a school that is known to have the freshmen playing big minutes.
Yeah.
But I feel like him especially, at least with his play style, how well he shoots the ball, he can, like, contribute right away.
Well, to further that point, McConnell graduating gives him a spot right to potentially be in the starting lineup. And he brings, Josh mentioned he's 6'7". He really brings a dynamic that Rutgers has never had. A 3-level tall forward scorer, right? So they had Ron Harper Jr., who was kind of like that. But Ron Harper Jr., less handles from what I've seen, and also was developed to be a 3-level scorer. Gavin Griffiths obviously is going to have to be developed, but already comes in as a 4-star, proficient 3-level scorer with a high motor. That's his profile. And let me tell you, if he actually has a high motor, which we've seen, he showed out when he played at Jersey Mike's Arena earlier in the year. Actually, I believe that was actually right before 2023. But a high motor guy, Pikel can convert to be good defensively. And Pikel obviously has a good connection with his family. Him and Gavin Griffiths' dad are good friends.
Connecticut, right?
Connecticut, but they're good for
Hartford.
him and his dad are good friends.
Yes.
That said, TJ Thompson, who's a great recruiter, was his main recruiter. Obviously, those things are a little, Maine, who's not Maine, whatever. But I think it's going to be so interesting for Rutgers because right now they really don't have a 3-level forward scorer. I mean, Caleb is, but he doesn't really shoot well.
Yeah.
Makes some Caleb on defense is incredible. Makes some poor decisions on offense sometimes. This is what he's coming here to do. Hustle and score the ball from the mid-range, from the 3-point, but from beyond the arc, and he can drive in the paint. And obviously, he's going to have to become a better facilitator, but you can play him in ISO, and he's going to be a real mismatch, potentially already as a freshman, so it's really exciting.
Yeah, he averaged 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists per game last season, and also won the NEP SAC Player of the Year. So he's coming in with some good statistics, and he's looking like a great player.
And he already signed a letter of intent, so, I mean, it's done and
It's done
official.
deal, for
Now,
sure.
2 under-the-radar prospects, one way more under the radar than other, in this class, and real quick before I go into them, the 2023 class, for anyone curious, is probably over. The recruiting cycle is mostly done, and there's no one real, unless there's more surprises like Michael Davis, there's no one really big that Rutgers is linked to. So our second highest one will be Bay and Dongo, who is another project that brings off raw athleticism. I saw his comparison. It's a really good one. Little bit of a smaller Cliff Amore. You
For
agree with
sure.
that?
I mean, I think I might have touched on that when I wrote about him, but yeah, I think, like, you look at his size on paper and you think of probably Cliff Amore. I mean, but then you watch him, he's fluid. He can move. He shoots the ball. I mean, granted, I'm watching highlights. I'm not watching him chuck up 10 threes a game. Like, I'm seeing the makes. But you see him shoot the ball. His form looks nice. And even I watched, like, older highlights. It was shaky. I watched a newer video. Like, it looks like his form has already improved. He moves well. He's dribbling. He's extremely athletic. Great on defense. I think he can fit Cliff on defense and bring possibly even more on offense.
We don't know if Cliff is going to come back, but he's actually a little different, I think, as you touched on it. He's a rim runner.
Right.
He can, not necessarily that he can run the court with the ball, but I think he's a faster player than Cliff is. More fluid's a great word actually to use, where he can run the ball, and I think where he'll help if he reaches what Pikel's vision for him is I think he'll help with fast breaks, because Cliff is really not much of a factor on fast breaks. Granted, Cliff is incredible, but he can really run with the best of them. A little smaller, so might be a problem if he's their acting center, because a lot of Big Ten centers are huge.
Yeah.
He's only 6'8", but he's as a huge and he's
only
really
6'8".
skinny.
He's only 6'8".
So he does have a huge wingspan.
I'm
though,
only
which makes up for
5'9".
it. Yeah, I mean you should try out for point guard maybe.
I really should.
Thomas.
I would love it.
But yeah, so I think he's really, really unique and another raw prospect that Steve Peichel adds to his collection. That's his been recruiting profile throughout his career at Rutgers, and can you say it's not working? It's totally working.
For sure.
And then the last recruit is point guard JaMychal Davis, who's unranked. What have you seen from him, Camden?
I'm really excited for JaMychal Davis, actually, because he was like, when he committed, I'm like, and this was right when I got the position for you guys writing, like, anyone who commits, whatever, the recruiting. And I'm like, how am I supposed to find anything on this guy? I'm like, he's unrated. I look him up, I can't find anything. But you dive a little deeper. I mean, like we said, you can find him in Ace Bailey videos. They're on the same team.
Oh, he's been in assists.
Right. And, like, I'm excited for him. He's athletic. He plays defense. Like his tenacity is always there. The effort just, like, comes through the screen watching him play. I think he just fits the mold of, like, I mean, he kind of reminds you of Derek Simpson a bit. And
I was going to say that.
Just the twitch, how quick.
This might be a really ambitious comparison.
Mm-hmm.
So don't take it for, like, he's going to reach the ceiling, but Colin Sexton.
Right.
I thought that was a great comparison.
I can see that, yeah.
College Colin Sexton was a dog.
Yeah.
A dog. And tenacity is a great word.
I agree, yeah. I can see
Tenacity.
The same kind of, like, aggression and tenacity with the two. But, yeah, I'm excited for him a lot. I think, like, he's so under the radar, but I think he'll get here, and I think he can definitely contribute.
You compared him to Nuggets point guard Bones Highland and Houston Rockets shooting guard Jalen Green. So
I did, yeah, with the size and the way he moves on the court, that's, like, immediately what I saw. I mean, him and Bones especially are, like, small. They're pretty thin.
Yeah.
But JaMychal, I would say, those two are, like, shooters, score. JaMychal does everything. He's more of, like, a slasher, I feel like. But, yeah, with the size and the kind of the fluidity on offense, those are the two I saw. Yeah.
Bones Highland is not the best defensively, which is where I came
for
from.
sure.
But I agree with your comparison overall.
This man knows NBA. Look at that. I don't know if you can see his sweatshirt. He has an NBA logo. It's a Pistons.
Pistons, I am.
But he does have an NBA logo
from
on that
Michigan,
shirt.
yeah.
This guy knows NBA, and those are some.
Unfortunate for you.
There's some good comparisons.
Hey,
so.
The future's there.
Sure.
With the
no, but I totally agree with JaMychal Davis. I think also there's something to be said for unranked recruits and like Ron Harper Jr. or low-ranked recruits like Joe Baker, where they have that chip on their shoulder, and if they can use that correctly, obviously it's kind of hard to quantify that. It's very case-to-case basis, but it is a stereotype for a reason that unranked recruits have this chip on their shoulder. They play harder, they work harder, and I think you might see something like that with JaMychal Davis. Now, of course, you can be excited for all these prospects. They don't always pan out, so it's kind of hard. It's these are 18-year-olds. So it's always hard to predict. It's very hard to predict. Where these prospects end up. But I think you can be really excited in the raw athleticism and talent with a lot of these prospects. Okay. And with that, I think I want to, for this last kind of part, I want to transition to what could be a legendary 2024 recruiting class.
Legendary.
This really is...
Legend. Wait for it. Dairy.
Love it.
How I Met Your Mother.
But, so it could really be... I'll at least say that for you. An awesome recruiting class. It is a bit in the future, but Rutgers have already signed 4-star point guard Delquan Warren and highest-ranked recruit once it becomes official, 5-star power forward, 6'9", standing at 6'9", Arias, or otherwise known as Ace Bailey.
Let's go.
Josh is hyped.
So excited. I was so excited when this news came out. It was actually happened after Rutgers beat Ohio State. Moat Mag hit that big three at the end of the game in overtime.
Surprised him in the locker room.
Yeah, and Ace Bailey surprised the team in the locker room. Said he was in, and obviously Steve Peichel and the guys were hyping him up, going excited. You would have thought they won the championship with how excited they were. And yeah, I mean, hearing this news, it was just a great day for Rutgers, just beating Ohio State after Ohio.
Belichick, great day for Rutgers.
Yeah, great day for Rutgers, beating Ohio State, and then I went to the Living Dining Hall like we mentioned earlier, but I went earlier. And I heard this news. Must have been eating some mac and cheese, heard this news, got excited, and I mean, it was just a great day.
Bailey's the 6th-ranked recruit, according to 247 Composite. He is the 5th-ranked recruit, according to On3, and he is also the 5th ranked recruit according to Rival. So this is a type of recruit that Rutgers has never had, and yet he somehow still fits the Steve Peichel mold. 6'10", freak athlete, freak height for small forward, power forward, and can do it all. Shooting might be a needed development, but already a great defender, especially inside, but can also guard the 1 through 5. Already has great hops and burst and finishing. This is a player that can change the trajectory of a program. And right now, Rutgers, according to 247 Sports, has the 5th, obviously still changed because it's 2024, but 5th best recruiting class in the entire country for 2024.
In the nation.
Imagine 6 years ago,
Oh my
Rutgers,
God.
who was considered one of the
Chills.
worst Division I programs.
Woo.
Now they sit at the 5th highest recruiting class. It really is chills for Rutgers fans.
Chills.
It really
Absolute
is.
chills. Unreal.
But I think I want to talk about, because, and Delcon Warren, we should give him his flowers real quick before we transition. Another Steve Peichel, high 4-star defender, high 4-star point guard who's great at defense. Just fantastic defender. That's his specialty. I would say like a souped-up Jalen Miller, because he also has more ball handling abilities than Jalen Miller has shown up to this point, and he's good rim running and rim finishing.
Yeah, he throws down.
Abilities. Yeah, he can throw down. He can dunk with the best of them. So I think there's, but he has the tenacity as Jalen Miller does. But Rutgers has a chance to make their recruiting class even better and get in the top 3, because right now they're in the mix for, I think we're just going to name the biggest names. Obviously, they're in the mix for a bunch of people, but Naz Cunningham, Dylan Harper, Donnie Freeman. Naz Cunningham and Dylan Harper are 5 stars. The rest are 4 stars. Donnie Freeman, Kurt Tang, Tyler Betsy, Lathan Somerville. Josh, I want you to talk to me about Cunningham and Harper.
Well, Dylan Harper I know the most about, because Dylan Harper is the brother of Ron Harper, and Ron Harper is a basketball legend at Rutgers. Obviously, the half-court Purdue shot, taking down number 1 Purdue for the first time, because we took him out twice. But Dylan Harper is a 5-star, like you said. He's debatably better than his brother, and we know Ron Harper's a really good player.
Recruiting-wise, he's way better.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. Recruiting-wise, way better. Was Harper...
Dylan Harper right now is who was on the wrong side? Dylan Harper's the 4th highest recruit. according to
That's
247
insane.
Composite.
Yeah, man. And I know he's a great shooter.
He's a bucket.
He's a bucket.
That is
a
what
bucket.
he is. He is
Yeah.
a bucket, pure and simple, 3-level point guard scorer that can distribute. Just a game-changing player. I think it's between him and Duke. He has a crystal ball to Duke, but the writer is a Duke writer. So
Yeah, I looked at this like one writer.
It's one writer.
We got the Rutgers connection.
Rutgers connection.
Riot Squad.
Does that hurt though? Does that hurt because you don't want
He
to
doesn't want to live in the
shadow?
Exactly. I don't think it hurts, because
And Duke has made them their number 1 target, and the last time Duke has lost their number 1 target is who knows when.
I don't think it hurts us, because anytime Dylan Harper steps into the rack, I'm calling it the rack because it's the rack. Anytime Dylan Harper steps into the rack, the Riot Squad chants, "We want Dylan," or we want Harper, or they chant Dylan Harper. Harper knows that we love him. We already have that connection with him, and
The Duke fans will love him too.
Exactly, but we already have that connection with him. I feel like as a Rutgers fan, I have a connection with this guy. I don't know why. I don't know him. I have never met him. But because of Ron Harper and what he's done for this program, I think Dylan Harper can even escalate the Harper name at Rutgers. Because I think Riot Squad loves him, and Rutgers fans love him. I think it's going to be a great connection.
If you're Steve Peichel, here's your recruit to Dylan. Here's your pitch to Dylan Harper. You can be the star of an up and coming program. You could take us to the final level where you'll be handed the ball as well. You'll be a starter right away. Your second pitch to him is, look, we got Ace Bailey. So we have talent around you that can help you be a national title contender, get your name on the map. Your mom, it's reported that Dylan Harper's mom, the reason Ron Harper chose Rutgers was because his mom. So obviously his mom has a lot of sway in this probably too. Then again, Duke is Duke. But I think that's your pitch if you're Steve Peichel.
Right. And I just feel like Duke like isn't the same, I feel like, without Coach K. Like,
It's still Duke, though.
It's still
the
Duke.
brand.
It's a storied
it's
franchise.
still Duke, yeah.
Storied.
And I do feel like that's like you go to Duke, like, I feel like you're just like, you're already on like lottery pick in the NBA, like radar.
Yeah.
I think
That's
at
okay.
Rutgers, like he'll be the guy though. You just gotta hope that he wants that and he wants to carry on the legacy and maybe just become like the face of Rutgers. I mean,
It's hard to predict these things. And with that, we have Naz Cunningham, who's friends with Dylan Harper. There's rumors that they're going to team up at Duke.
Yeah, it's Nas Cunningham released a
top 5.
His
So,
top
We
5.
got the top 5.
You got Duke, you got Rutgers, you got UCLA, Kansas, and Memphis.
And I will say that he also might go pro. I think he will go pro. That's my crystal ball. Not that,
But he's playing at overtime right now, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
So he might just stay at overtime. He also might just go pro somewhere in the G League. I think that is my prediction. I don't think Rutgers is going to get him, to be honest. I think actually Rutgers fans want him to go pro because I think if he stays in college, he'll go to Duke and he'll get Dylan Harper to come with him since they're friends. So I think the best scenario for Rutgers fans is for him to go pro and for Harper to commit to Rutgers because I don't think Harper is going to go pro. That doesn't seem in the cards as of yet. But I think that's the best scenario. Obviously he's a game changer, but it's hard to predict with a lot of these things. Because Ace Bailey, people had us in. He released the top 12. People thought Rutgers was in his top 3, but everyone had him going to Auburn. That was what most people thought. That was the consensus. And then he goes into the locker room and shocks the world. So that's or at least shocks college basketball world. So that's really what is so hard about these things. We only got a couple minutes left. I want to run through some of these names and if you think they're going to sign. Donnie Freeman.
Let's see. As of November, he had a top 5. Iowa, Rutgers, LSU, Texas, Maryland. I know Alabama's after him now. I'm not sure. I think that's up for air. Yeah, I really couldn't tell you.
Tyler Betsy. That's the recruit I really don't know much about.
Yeah, he's kind of. I feel like he's an AAU tournament of Harper and friends. So again,
he's a bigger guy. He's 6'8",
got the connection. Harper connection.
Yeah, I feel like he's more of the Harper connection.
Harper connection. It's strong.
It can flip a lot of the recruitment.
Yeah,
but I think Betsy,
friends,
I think Betsy brings more of like the
bruiser mentality.
Yeah, and like kind of like he'll play his role, like he'll guard a good offensive player, he'll knock down the 3. He's not going to be like the Ace Bailey or the Dylan Harper, probably not, but he would be a huge get as well.
And then finally to wrap it up, Lathan Somerville, who recently took a visit here, unofficial I believe, unfortunately during the Nebraska game when they lost. Interesting recruit because he's only 6'9", he's a center, but he's 225, so he's a big guy, kind of like a Zed Key almost, and he's got good touch for a bigger guy. So and great footwork for a high schooler, and obviously defensively when you're that strong, you can really be developed. So I think Rutgers is a good chance for him. I also think that Rutgers will, you never know who Steve Pikiell will randomly pick, like a Jermichael Davis. But with that, I think it's time for us to conclude. Thanks for watching or listening. Thank you, Camden, for coming on. Stay tuned to his articles both on Rutgers men's lacrosse and Rutgers basketball recruits. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Spotify, and YouTube. Stay tuned for more podcasts in the coming weeks.